of the music cognition people that I know are all really talented musicians. And I'm sort of an exception in that I'm not musical at all. And it's clearly a genetic thing. It's someone's birthday in my house or my family.
Mm-hmm.
We sing happy birthday. It's unbelievable how bad it is. But one of the things that I've wrote about and thought about is whether memory for music is special. Music is a different kind of stimulus. So there's something called procedural memory. Right? Procedural memory is usually think about skill-based learning, something where you demonstrate knowledge by doing as opposed to talking about it. And one thing that I've wondered is whether music is really, because it's an event that unfolds over time, it's a different kind of memory. So there are a couple of ways that you see this. One is if you hear a song that you like, it is harder to stop yourself from moving than it is to get yourself to move, right? It's harder to keep yourself from tapping your toes or your fingers, at the very least, than it is to actually engage in your behavior. It just elicits sort of a motor response that a lot of other stimuli don't. The other thing is the earworm phenomenon. I don't know if you're familiar with that. You get a song stuck in your head, and it's really, really hard to get out of it. It's sort of a program that you hit play, right? Something somewhere hits play inside your head, and that program just goes. And it sort of has its own momentum, and it keeps going and going. And a lot of other stimuli don't work that way. So I do think there might be something that's different about music than a lot of other stimuli that we think about. Now, why it gets connected as easily as it does, as easily as it seems to events from our life, I don't know. But there's lots of empirical evidence to suggest that music elicits autobiographical memories in ways that other stimuli don't. Lots of experiments that show that dementia patients who have difficulty connecting to their memories, if you just interview them, can remember things that they couldn't otherwise remember when they hear music, and especially music that they're familiar with, and especially music that is selected specifically for them. And the problem with some of these findings is they're idiosyncratic, so the melody that works for one subject doesn't work for another subject. And oftentimes it seems, if you read the literature, it's not a randomly selected group of subjects. It's subjects for whom music was an important part of their lives when they were younger. My grandfather had dementia for many, many years, and my grandmother tried doggedly to take care of him and did for many, many years. She's 103 now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And she's, so she was in her 80s trying to chase my grandfather around, which was really, really difficult. And she said music was the one thing where she could turn on some music and he would sit and listen. Like the TV didn't work. There was no stimulus that would sort of keep him calm and sort of attending on something so that she could like have a moment to herself. Every known human culture that we have a significant anthropological or archaeological record for has music making as a part of it. So it does seem to be universal across the globe today and through time, as far as we know. And within cultures, there are very, very few people that you meet who will say, I have no interest in music. I don't enjoy listening to it. I'd rather not listen to music. There are a few famous examples. The one I think most relevant to us is apparently Freud. Freud apparently hated music.
I didn't know that.
There are writings of people who would say they're going to sit down and have a conversation with Freud. There was a band of some kind playing, and Freud said, "Can we go somewhere else? I don't like being around music." Why does every culture have music if it doesn't directly lead to us, help us pass our genes down? But it's there, and people listen to music not because there's some evolutionary advantage, not because for most of us we make a livelihood at it, right? We listen to music because it has some sort of an emotional effect on us. And so it seems, given that, it seems obvious, right, that music could be used to great effect in helping people elevate mood or cope with experiences that they've had. Like there has to be some way to harness the emotional effect that music has on people. I think that one of the problems that I have with music therapy, or one of the things that gives me pause about music therapy, is a lot of the literature that you read, the people who conduct the research weren't trained as researchers. They were trained as therapists. And so they're very good at therapy,